The coronavirus outbreak has etched grim new headlines tonight. In U.S. financial markets, the viral spread, coupled with a 25% drop in world oil prices, sent the Dow Jones Industrials average down more than 2,000 points to close at 23,851. The Nasdaq fell 625 points, and the S&P 500 lost 225. All three indexes were off more than 7% today, and they are down nearly 20% from their peaks just last month. We'll return to the economy and the markets in just a moment. But first, Amna Nawaz looks at the new deadly toll from the coronavirus, including 26 here in the U.S. and drastic new quarantine measures.
As the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in the U.S. continues to rise, officials are stepping up measures to control the virus spread. Heeding a weekend warning from Dr. Anthony Fauci, infectious disease chief at the National Institutes of Health.
In real time, you've got to evaluate the situation. If we continue to see the community spread go up, I think you need to seriously look at anything that's a large gathering. Again, I have to underscore, Chuck, particularly if you're an individual who has an underlying condition and are vulnerable.
Across the country, communities are bracing for disruption. Airlines now say they could lose more than $110 billion, and schools are assessing their own closures in real time. After a member of New York's Columbia University was exposed to COVID-19, classes were canceled today and tomorrow, with remote classes planned for the rest of the week. Further north in Westchester, Scarsdale Public Schools have closed until March 18th after a middle school faculty member tested positive. And across the country, Stanford University canceled in-person classes until March 22nd after a faculty member contracted the virus. Earlier today in Oakland, California, officials prepared to receive thousands of passengers from the Grand Princess cruise ship, docked since March 4th. 21 people aboard have tested positive for coronavirus. On Twitter, the president wrote, quote, "Last year, 37,000 Americans died from the common flu. At this moment, there are 546 confirmed cases of coronavirus with 22 deaths." The virus, which affects the respiratory system, has proven to be more dangerous for older people. In Albany today, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo urged seniors to remain cautious. At least 142 people in his state have tested positive.
The fear and the hysteria is outpacing the reality of the situation. But the reality of the situation is people in that target group should be careful.
Meanwhile, in London, store shelves lay bare. Tesco, the country's largest retailer, has now restricted bulk purchases of products like antibacterial gel and dried pasta. German health officials today lauded their country's preparedness, like this roadside testing in southeast Germany.
One advantage, of course, is that we are here on an open space, far away from infrastructure. This means that with this station, we contribute to keeping the general practitioners from being overloaded, and above all, keep the hospitals free and operational.
In Italy, officials over the weekend locked down the hard-hit northern region, including Milan and Venice, and today expanded the quarantine to the entire country, 60 million people, in an effort to contain the coronavirus. One Milan resident said the restrictions are sparking fear outside the quarantine zone.
You can see the terror in people, even via email. In my job, I have to travel to other cities and abroad. All these travels have been canceled also because of people's fear.
But in Paris, Disneyland remains open and crowded, even after one worker tested positive for coronavirus. Meanwhile, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said today all Israelis entering the country from abroad must self-quarantine for 14 days. Still, there are signs of recovery. In China, where the virus began, authorities say the number of new cases in recent days are in single digits. And the mayor of South Korea's most affected city said new cases over the weekend are the lowest in a week and a half. Late today in the U.S., questions about President Trump's contacts with two Republican congressmen who are now self-quarantined. Doug Collins of Georgia shook hands with the president on Friday, and Matt Gaetz of Florida flew with the president on Air Force One today. Both had contact with a conference goer in the D.C. area who was later diagnosed with coronavirus. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Amna Nawaz.